Hi, Monarch students. This is Ms. Kurganin, and I am leading you through a short lecture about migration. Hopefully, you have already seen the zombie movement video that I like to start with, which is an overview of push and pull factors. So as we go through these notes, you are going to be writing down briefly, super briefly on this note catcher, and then this is what you'll upload to Schoology when we're done. So the zombie video was just to highlight push and pull factors, but we're going to write down what those are. So Everett Lee was a geographer who was analyzing how people were moving after World War II and where they were going. And you're going to see that on one side, push factors are pushing you out of a place, and then pull factors are pulling you into a place. So pretty easy there. It says, number one, what's an example of a push factor? So you don't have a job, and then you want to go to a job. So that's the pull factor. That's usually the number one reason that people move. And if you are new to Colorado, that was probably the reason you moved out here, is your parents followed a job. But maybe where you are is not safe or you don't have amenities. And so there is a trend of people that are living in a stage 2 country wanting to move towards stage 4, where there's going to be better services provided, there's going to be more food, there's going to be less risk because the government does a better job of taking care of its people. So an example of a pull factor would be these things that you are lacking here. You have crop failure, but then you've got food, or you have drought and you've got water, or you've got flooding and I'm not going to die. So would you please write down an example for 1 and 2? But in this model of movement, which seems pretty straightforward here, Lee saw migration as really like a chemistry equation. So the pluses and minuses are all the reasons, like you may go, you might not go, and there's things holding you back. That's a pull factor. There's things pushing you to go. That's a push factor. So I usually use an example of like trying to decide, are you going to go to Monarch? You're going to go to Fairview, and there's pluses and minuses and pluses and minuses. And so maybe pushing you to go to Fairview is you want to be closer to your friend who's going there. But then pulling you to stay is the idea that you would have to like get a super early bus and you don't want to get up that early. And so when you're weighing all of this, if there's more pluses to go to Fairview, you go to Fairview. If there's more pluses to stay for Monarch, you stay for Monarch. Well, maybe you have decided to go to Fairview and you're all ready to go, and the chemistry equation seems to be tipping. Well, the idea of an intervening obstacle, Lee said, is something that gets in the way of migration. So maybe you were all set to go to Fairview, and then that summer, this past summer, you have met the love of your life. And that love of your life is an intervening obstacle because it is preventing you from moving and is having you stay at Monarch. So intervening obstacles could be family ties, like maybe you were all set to move and then your mom got sick, or you just couldn't leave your family. Could be political issues. You're all set to move and then they close the borders and they won't let you in. Maybe it's religious views and they don't like the type of you that's coming in. Oops, sorry. Or it could be bureaucracy, just having like the red tape and enough of the paperworks. Maybe you get a better job. So intervening obstacles are what comes up and messes with your movement. So in the world migration map, I have, where's that GIF? I think this is super cool. If I can find it. I think I had it for you. Well, maybe I don't. Maybe we got to go into it here. We'll go in here. This is kind of cool. So this is all of the migration at once, if I can get this GIF to work. So look at the blue is where they're going to. The red is where they're going from. And you can see there's a lot of people going from Syria. There's a lot of people going from India. This is like live right now. Where are they going? And like, remember how I said that they're moving towards stage 4 countries. We're a stage 4 country. And the trend seems to be moving upwards. So number 4 says, what are 2 countries that are source regions for the highest number of refugees? Where are they coming from? So they're coming from Syria, and they're coming from India. Well, why would they be coming from Syria? Because war is going on. Why would they be coming from India? Well, there's so many people. You are trying to find job and you're trying to find stability in countries where you don't have as much opportunity. So I think that this migration map's pretty cool. Number 5, what are some dangers that Syrian refugees encounter? So to do number 5, I would like you actually to pause here and watch this video. This is Syrian refugees, and this is from the National Geographic. It's Syrian Refugees, a Human Crisis Revealed in a Powerful Short Film. Well, if it's not streaming for you, I'm hoping that it's streaming for you because it's powerful and it's awesome and you should check it out. But if for some reason it's not and you have to turn on the volume here, in case you can't watch this, then let's just talk a little bit about the Syrian refugees. So, escaping war means that you've got to try and find safety elsewhere. And right now in the world, there's a lot of people on the move trying to escape places that are dangerous. So here in Syria, some problems that they encounter is it's super mountainous. And when you finally get to Turkey, there are some militants there who make it very dangerous. This is not a very safe place to go to, as well as moving this direction towards Iraq. This is actually where ISIS is. And so Syrian refugees are finding that if they go, what direction would that be? East or north, they're going to run into dangerous rebel groups. Or if they take their chances trying to go across the Mediterranean Sea to get up to Greece, they risk drowning, which is what that video was about. So Syrian refugees are really caught right now in trying to find safety and where might they go. It's tough. There's also a group of Rohingya that are on the move right now, fleeing Myanmar and fleeing into Bangladesh, because if they stay, they're going to be killed. That Muslims are being persecuted and they're fleeing to places that won't kill them because they're Muslim. And lots of Buddhists in this area are killing them. Actually, those Buddhists have gotten misinformation. They've gotten fake news from Facebook about how they should go kill the Rohingyas. And sadly, people are believing that fake news. So the refugee crisis around the world, we have lots and lots of people that are trying to escape and find safety in other countries. And what they may run into is that other country won't let them in, which is going to be about the movie that you're watching a little bit later. So we've done number 4, we've done number 5. What are 2 observations about that metrocosm GIF that I was showing you? I think some observations I see is there seems to be a trend to move north, and there seems to be a trend to move from places that are in economic and political disarray and moving towards places that are more stable. So then in your notes, it says Einstein's Laws. So I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint because another geographer besides Lee was this guy Ravenstein, and Ravenstein was analyzing all of these people on the move and trying to figure out what are some common themes I see and why people are moving. Most of the people that are refugees and escaping crises are from Syria, Afghanistan, Somalia. These are all places that have had political wars going on. And I've showed you some of that information already. Okay, so now we're doing Ravenstein's laws. So this guy, Ernest Ravenstein, was analyzing movement back in Germany, like way long ago, like the turn of the century. But what he found is that there seems to be some common reasons that people move. So for each of these Ravenstein laws of movement, you're going to write down the law and you're going to write down an example. So the biggest reason to move, number 1, is for jobs and economic opportunity. And an example would be all of the immigrants from Central America that we're receiving right now. Those are places that have not been able to provide steady employment. So people are moving towards the United States, hoping that they could find employment here. So that's the number 1 reason that people move around the globe, is to get a job. Okay, number two, the second reason that people are on the move is because there's cultural pressure, meaning people don't like you. And if you stay, you could be persecuted. So think about like the Jewish Holocaust and where we have persecuted humans. They don't want to die. So like the Rohingya, and it's Rohingya, or sometimes I see that with a G. You could just write Muslim persecution is an example of a cultural pressure. But number three, increasingly, we are seeing people having to move because of climate change and environmental pressures are making where they're living inhospitable. So we saw this back in 2006 with Hurricane Katrina. And down in Louisiana, you could no longer stay because it was so flooded. Or we're seeing places that have drought around the world or flooding that it's just not going to be safe to stay. So this is people leaving from the Vietnam War, and had they stayed, they could be persecuted. And oh my goodness, that looks super dangerous, and everybody piling onto that boat. Okay. In our US history, we used to be able to support a lot of agriculture in the Midland area. And then we had this Dust Bowl happen where all of the crops failed. And so people had to leave for those environmental reasons. Okay. Your fourth law is that usually migrants, people that are moving, only go a short distance, and they usually go in a country before they go to another country. So I always tell students, like, if I were to lose my job today, I would look for a job in Colorado before I like look for a job in New Zealand. So most people who are coming here to the United States have already looked for a job in their community, but they couldn't find them and they couldn't find a job even nearby. So that's why they're going a long distance. But usually it's a short distance. So here are some migrants just about to pop over the US border, but there's an intervening obstacle right there. There's Border Patrol. I think this is an interesting picture of what the border looks like. Notice how Mexico doesn't have a problem with us coming over, but we clearly want this buffer zone to prevent immigrants from coming to our country. Here are some Central American migrants trying to ride in a coal car, hoping to eventually get to where they can find jobs, either in southern Mexico or maybe if they were lucky enough to make it to the United States. Europeans are also on the move. They are looking to find jobs in Spain. They're looking to find jobs in the UK from India. And so wherever there are jobs, people are going to go and try and find those jobs. In the US history, we had a lot of Blacks who were persecuted down here in the South, try and find jobs up in the auto industry or out West because there were more opportunities for people of color. Okay, your fifth law. Your fifth law is that we found most migrants are male. Ravenstein said that they're usually traveling without children. So examples would be the Southeast Asian workers in Australia and New Zealand right now that are lots of young men coming to try and find a job, and then they send their money back to their families back in their countries. So why don't you bring your kids? Well, it's hard to work when you've got little kids. So you might bring them when you're finally more stable. Now, there's a modern exception. Go down to the bottom of your notes. The modern example is that women historically were not on the move. They were home taking care of the kids, but now they're on the move. Like women are feeling empowered to just pick up and go. So most of the people at our borders right now are actually women. And I have a stat here that in the 1990s, Mexican women were 55% of the US immigrants. Syrian women in the next picture here are on the move. So that's a modern exception. Ravenstein usually said it used to be just men, but now it seems to be women too. And you can see the trend is for more women to go without their partner and just try and seek safety or job opportunities on their own. Okay, your sixth law is the idea of chain migration. Migration proceeds over time, over generations. So maybe the male went and set up a job and got the house and then sent for the rest of the family. So an example of chain migration is you being here. Your ancestors came to America and then eventually brought more of your family, and then here you are. So my original ancestors were from Norway, and then they kind of set up in Iowa, and then eventually, brought in more of those Corneliusons until they had a kind of an enclave of Norwegians in Iowa. So your ancestors came to the United States, most of them that way. Okay, here's families heading out on the Oregon Trail. All right, number 7, we're almost done. Most immigrants travel long distances from rural areas to urban centers. Why aren't you going to stay in that rural area? Because there's no jobs. And then you're going to come to an urban center where there is a job. And because the urban area brings a lot of newcomers, that's what makes Denver so diverse, or Los Angeles so diverse. Lots of people coming from lots of different places and trying to find a job in that large city. And here is poor regions of Brazil, and then trying to come into the city for jobs. And then the history of our country has been one where immigrants came to Boston or New York or San Francisco, and we call those gateway cities, places where lots of immigrants will hopefully find jobs. Right, this is where are people coming from. They used to come from Southern and Eastern Europe, but lately most of our immigrants come to the United States from Latin America and Asia. That seems to be the trend right now. All right, last law. Each time a group comes in, there seems to be a counterflow out. And why does this happen? I'm not really sure, but maybe human beings just don't want to live next to someone who seems different. So if a lot of new immigrants came into your neighborhood and were speaking a different language, you might leave because you don't feel like you fit in anymore. And so Ravenstein saw this hold true, that as people come in, other people go out, and there seems to be a move towards living out in the suburbs where you can have a bigger house and more land. Here's some more just maps I had of the Syrians trying to escape. Like, can't really go here, you can't go here, you can't go here. It's tough stuff. And then last slide here is just what are some major migrations in history for the world. And the United States is definitely a country that's based on immigration and a history of moving, because even our colonists came here from another country. All right, I think I'm done. You are going to upload those notes, and then let me show you what we're doing today. Today, you're going to do an immigration case study. And the immigration case study is going to be analyzing a film about our US-Mexico border. You are going to answer these questions probably after the 40-minute movie. And the movie I think you'll really like. It's by the same guy who ate all of those hamburgers for 30 days. And so he has gone on to make a whole series of being poor for 30 days, living with an alcoholic mom for 30 days, what it was like to be Muslim for 30 days. So this one is, what is it like to be an illegal immigrant for 30 days? While you're listening, you're going to listen for push and pull factors. I just went over that. That's Lee's model. You're going to talk about some intervening obstacles that the Gonzalez family faces. You are going to talk about how the Gonzalez family overcomes those intervening obstacles and what type of problems the U.S. citizenship process involves. You are going to probably get a sense of some positive ways that people perceive immigrants, but also negative ways that immigrants are perceived in our country. And even though we are a country that has a history of immigration, we have like both sides. We have people that like them for jobs, and then we also have people that want to build a big wall and not let in immigrants. So I have a short video here that you're going to watch about the history of our U.S. immigration policies. A short video here about what it will cost to continue building the U.S. border wall that's begun under President Trump. And then lastly is a short paragraph here. How would you solve our nation's immigration issue? So spend some time kicking back, watching this fun film, and then you're going to answer these questions by midnight tonight. Please reach out if you have any questions, and I think you'll like this case study. Enjoy.